How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to a episode on the South Stand View. And as you can see, we are joined by some new friends, aren't we, Mike? As we are joined by Darren and Dillo from OnlyLeedsBros. We'll come to Darren first. How are we, mate? All good?
Yeah, all good, Charlie and Mike. Thanks very much for having us on, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we're not really all good, to be honest, lads. I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling with yesterday. I was going to say to you off air, watch the highlights back, and you're trying to just pick something. What was he thinking about? Something to try and defend him, because at the end of the day, he still is a Leeds United player. But I think it's just got to the stage with Illan Meslier now. It's the undefendable. I can't think what he was thinking. The first goal as well. He comes out, puts himself in no man's land. Outside his 18-yard box, he can't use his hands or anything. Then the second goal, why he claws it back and doesn't tip it over the top, I'll never know. And then the third goal again, Byron wins the header. He puts himself in no man's land again, and he's way out of position then. So yeah, really poor. And again, it feels like a little bit like a loss, same to Blackburn. But now we picked up 2 points out of a possible 6, but it just, the both of them feel like losses, don't they? And yeah, we should have extended our lead at the top of the table. The only shining light is that we still do have that gap of 1 point, but it should have been more.
Yeah, I mean, Dillo, I don't know about you, mate, but I was saying in our group chat last night, it drove me to drink last night. I don't usually drink in the house, but I was that enraged.
He does.
No, but I was that enraged, and my blood was boiling that much that I had to just try and just take the edge off. But I mean, are you feeling any better today, mate?
No, not one bit. My fists are killing me. My head is killing me. The missus keeps saying you need to stop punching doors and punching the wall. And now it comes to the point where when it comes to Meslier, with the Sunderland situation when it happened, obviously I was raging. Believe it or not, I was actually more angry with that one than I am with this one. But you get the vibe. You want to back him, get on with it, move on. He's going to be here regardless, so we have to back him. Then he goes and does that.
Yeah.
It's madness, lads. I have to be honest. It's just pure madness. And it's not even the goals that he let in. Like, it was a few errors as well. Like, if I'm not mistaken, they put the ball across the box and he just, went down to his knees and then they hit the post. Even stuff like that. It's just positioning, overall positioning is dirt. And then, it's just madness. It's more the one that he knocked back in that was going to go over the bar or hit the crossbar. That's the one that's really annoying me. Trying to be a hero for no reason whatsoever. You just turned out to be an idiot altogether. I don't know. I can't rate him anymore. I'm kind of done with it. I have to be honest. So I think there's no going back now this time.
Yeah, I think everyone's on a similar wavelength in fairness, mate. But just before we go any further, guys, make sure that you're liking, you're commenting and subscribing. I'm sure that there'll be plenty of you out there that have seen Only Leeds Bros before anyway. But if you haven't, then go and check their channel out as well.
Check them out.
But Mike, I saw on TikTok earlier that you went for a nice walk in the snow to try and take your mind off that. I mean, I think let's just get into Meslier straight off the bat because it's the hot topic, isn't it? I mean, we did our post match last night, and I think Isaac as well, who unfortunately can't be here today. I think we all said that is out of chances now, and I think you were advocating obviously for Karl Darlow to come in, and I agreed. Are you still of that mindset? I mean, Karl Darlow can't be that bad, can he?
I think it means something when you have to go outside and cool off -6 degrees. I think that's the level that I want it. Boys. I had to go for a walk this morning to cool off. Yeah, as I was saying yesterday, really, I think now when you look back on the game, you can really kind of tot up the points, can't you, that it's losing us. Obviously there were yesterday. There was the Sunderland one that sticks out. Also the goal that Preston scored at the near post. There's the penalty against Norwich, Josh Sargent, where it's straight at him. So it's you can really kind of tot them up. But for me, I think there's no going back from, like you guys have said. I think we really need to low. I think he's obviously going to get an opportunity probably against in the FA Cup. I think we'll go there and see where we go from there. If it don't work out there for Darlow as well, we've probably got to dip into the loan market or the transfer market, haven't we, lads?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, we'll obviously touch on the transfer situation towards the end, but I said this last night, Darren, that I think if this was just a one-off like bad game from him, then I feel like the criticism would obviously be extremely harsh. But I feel like it's been a build-up now, probably since the relegation season, which maybe that season you can cut him a bit of slack because he had a absolutely awful defence in front of him. But even last season as well, you know, there are countless games, there's countless situations that have just been similar to what happened yesterday. You know, the Sunderland one earlier on in the season, like Mike said, the Preston one. I would even argue that Blackburn goal the other day at Ellen Road. Yeah. I could even argue that as well. So, you know, surely, you know, if all the fan base can see it, pundits can probably see it, everybody, then why can't Daniel Farke see it, Darren, do you think? Why does he keep persisting with him?
I think kind of going back with what you're saying with Meslier, and the reason why we've kind of got to this point is because he's out of chances, and it's similar to the Bamford situation is that you build up credit in the bank, and Bamford obviously did in the Premier League, you know, great player for us, and then we go back down to the Championship and numerous occasions, missing penalties for us, and, you know, away at Stoke and chances, open goals, stuff like that, and it's similar to the Meslier situation. There's only so many times you can get away with that, and it's like what Dylan said, the Sunderland one was very, very close to the edge, and a lot of fans tipped him over the edge. But there was a lot of fans still kind of saying, right, we still need to back him because we were kind of in that the start of the season mode. We were very far away from January. We can't really do anything. We've no choice. And we back him, and we did. And he's done it again. And it's like what I said to you, Charlie and Mike off air, is I just don't believe for 1 second from January to May that Meslier doesn't have another mistake in him. If you look across all of our goals, and I did all the goals Leeds have conceded this season, and harsh to say, but he plays a big part in the whole lot of them. Start the season against Portsmouth as well. He was just non-existent, and that shot straight at him, going straight through him. Charlie said Preston as well. Blackburn last week, he's all over the place. I'd even argue the Burnley one as well, the breakaway. Bogle could have done better, but his positioning as well.
His positioning is terrible.
It's just, he's way, way off it. And I kind of did say it back when we started OnlyLeedsBros, and I got a little bit of stick for it. I said, either way, whether Leeds go up or we stay down next season, I think we have to part ways with Illan Meslier. But now I'm thinking it should be now. I really think we should pass it on. And I think I was looking back, and I was watching an interview with Big Sam, and he was speaking about the Meslier situation. And he said his confidence was shot. He came in, he couldn't take that risk, and he's the only one of all the managers we've had since Bielsa that have had the cojones to turn around and drop him from the squad. And as like what you said, Charlie, I don't know if Farke is backing him. We all see it. The pundits see it. I'm sure even Meslier feels it now at this stage, because it took him a long time to pick his confidence up off the ground after Sunderland. He's going to have to try and do the same thing again. And Leeds United, just the position that we're in at the moment, Sheffield United and Burnley are hot on our heels. We can't be carrying people. So I think Harrogate in Farke said he has to be thinking whether it's going to be Kearns or Darlow. He needs to start one of them and see what their performance is like and put them in for Sheffield Wednesday, because it's becoming untenable now with Illan Meslier for me.
I just, with what Darren said there, you know, I'm talking about someone in a normal working job. If you make a certain amount of mistakes, your boss is going to pull you in and go, here, you know, you're going to get the sack, or you're going to, you know, at the end of the day, you have to give, like Meslier he's a good natural goal stopper to a certain degree, but his kicking is dirt, his positioning is dirt, and just is all over, you say, carry play.
He's the client, lad, hasn't he? From that keeper we've seen in his debut against Arsenal, like I keep saying,
it's a shadow of his former self.
Unbelievable, Charlie. Like, I remember that game against Arsenal. We rang Dylan after that game, and I was like, he's going to be the next Nigel Martin. He is unbelievable. His goal kicking was like Ederson, Alisson, like pinpoint. And the decline and the cliff that he's fallen off, lads, since that ninth position. Like a lot of them Bielsa players, lads, to be fair. And I just think Bielsa, seeing something in Meslier, his distribution was unbelievable. And it's like we've gone away from that under Mars, Gracier, Allardyce was dropped. But even under Farke, I just don't think we use his distribution, because it has got very poor as well. But how a goalkeeper can decline that much at such a young age? Look, he still has a lot of time in his career to build it back up, but I just don't think at Leeds United, I think it's time to move on part ways, and it's best for both parties.
It was half-hours save as well, the first one, I think. You know, when he comes out, he kind of just shrugs his shoulders. He didn't even make an attempt.
If you watch it back, lads, he hesitates. If you just watch Meslier, it's hard. It's hard because you're looking at the run, you're watching forward, you're watching defence. But if you just watch Meslier for the goal, he comes out a little bit, he hesitates, pulls himself back a bit, and then he decides to go, and it's well too late. Someone like Abdul Kamara with his pace as well. If he's coming out and if he's committing, lads, he has to come out and clean him out of it, doesn't he? And if he's getting a red card, he's getting a red card. He comes out and he tries to stop a goal. But he puts himself at the disadvantage outside the 18-yard box. He can't use his hands. Even if he tried to stay in his 18-yard box, he might have an opportunity to get to it. Just completely the wrong decision for me. But it doesn't go without saying the defence was all over the place. You see Rodon and Ampadu coming right over to the right-hand side. Big gap in the middle. Bauber's way off it as well. He doesn't see the running behind and hasn't got the leg. So it was a collective. Again,
Overall,
he doesn't help and it clips it into an empty net.
I would personally argue that it's up there with one of the worst goalkeeping displays I've seen in a very long time from a Leeds United goalkeeper. I think we spoke about it on our post match last night. Is he on a par with like Kiko in terms of how bad he was getting in that promotion season? And it did take a change in goals for that season to help get Leeds over the line that season. I think, like we've said, whether it means Darlow comes in or if we maybe dip into the market for one, I think there's definitely needs to be a change. But just an open question to everybody: if Darlow does come in for Harrogate and he keeps a clean sheet and he looks okay, does he keep his place for Chef Wednesday?
I think, I think he should do. But I don't know if Daniel Farke will be bold enough to make that decision. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Daniel Farke puts him straight back in for the Sheffield Wednesday game. I don't think he's bold enough to make that decision.
Yeah, me too.
Hello, what about you?
I'd like for if Darlow did do that, pull off a great display, I would start him, because I feel there's players on the bench that need to be used, even the subs, like the way when Nanto's coming on or DJ's coming on, we're going to have to use everyone on the Leeds side, because I think that was one of the major issues with last season is that we had no one to come on to make an impact, and anyone that was either too young or just simply not good enough, let's be honest. We solely relied on 3 individuals last season, and this season we're not. It's going to an overall 11 is that's pretty standard, apart from you can say Meslier now at the minute. But yeah, look, if Darlow does a job, I don't see why not. He has Premier League appearances under his belt as well. Don't get me wrong, so does Meslier, but look, lads,
the Welsh number one as well, lads. He can't be that bad for being the Welsh number one. And it's thinking, like, is Darlow a great goalkeeper? No, but at the moment, the way Meslier is playing, is he better? Yeah, he has to be. So
he's got man of the match for Wales, hasn't he? A few times.
Yeah, he has.
Do
you think, lads, it might even work a little bit better, because if he has the likes of Rodon, we don't know what way Strike is going to be as well. Like, so if he has, say, Ampadu and Rodon, 2 Welsh lads in front of him as well, he's Dan James in the squad as well. There's a lot of Welsh connection there as well. It might just help his confidence, bring him forward a little bit as well. You'll have a lot of people saying, like, if Leeds go beat Harrogate 3-4-0, he keeps a clean sheet, decent enough display, not really much to do. You'll have people going, well, it's only Harrogate, why should we try it out? But it's like what Mike said, I don't think Daniel Farke will make that decision. I don't think he's big enough to make them decision like that. I think we will see Meslier coming back in. We're all going to be disgruntled about it, so I'm kind of prepping myself saying he is going to be back in for Chef Wednesday. And if he's not, and he does surprise us all, and he does change it up, well, then we'd be a little bit more happy. But yeah, I just can't see it. I think Farke will go with Meslier. I think he'll back him.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so frustrating, though, isn't it? Because as you said earlier, mate, I think there's definitely going to be games from now until the end of the season in which he does perform like that, or at least maybe costs us some points, or just lets it go. Yeah, I think just his all-round general goalkeeping has been shocking for a while. Even his distribution, like you touched upon that Arsenal game in the cup when he made his debut, he was spraying balls around like Iniesta and Xavi, and who's this guy? And then now, like you say, the decline has been so. It's just crazy how much has just gone downhill for me. But there is another player that's getting a little bit of stick as well at the minute, and I think it's due to the first goal, and that's Max Verber. I did feel his overall performance wasn't great either. Now, I get maybe why he took maybe Sam Byram out, because I think he was getting over an illness, if I'm right.
Yeah, he was breeding an illness,
Yeah, but when Byram came on, he looked levels above for me. He just did the basics right. I think Max Verber's inability to get up and down that left-hand side he had no pace about him. That first goal showed that. I thought his defensive positioning for that first goal was way off as well. But I don't know if that was maybe the whole back line just having a bad day. I mean, like, what did you make of him, Darren?
Yeah, Volber, I thought he was well below par. He was poor defensively. He was poor going forward. I think at Elland Road we get away with it. At Elland Road, I think he's okay going forward because at Elland Road, look, we're unbelievable. I just think away from home, I think naturally Daniel Farke likes to play with them flying wing backs. We've seen it under Norwich when he has Jamal Lewis and Max Aarons. Unbelievable. And obviously, look, we haven't got the luxury of Firpo being there at the minute, but you have someone like Isaac Smith on the bench who can do it and does do it. But you go square pegs and round holes and you try Max Volber, so you're like, right, fine. He's been okay when he's came on at Elland Road, but just yesterday he was defensively poor. Defensively going forward, didn't give us anything either. His passing was poor, pulled himself out of position. But that whole left-hand side of the defence with Pascal Strike not being there and Sam Boyram, it was just in complete disarray. But that's where you look to your Ampadu's, your Rodons, to stand up and, get everything together. It just the whole day, yes, lads, I don't know about you, we just looked vulnerable. Every time the whole, had the ball, they looked like they were going to score. And to be honest, lads, we were very lucky not to find ourselves 2 or 3 down after that first half display because it was really, really bad. But even in the second half, lads, when we got ourselves 3-1 up, and we always say about Daniel Farke when we're winning games at Elland Road 3 or 4, why don't we go for the juggler? Why don't we keep going? And it's always risk averse, keep the ball, possession based first. And yesterday we just didn't do that. Same thing at Blackburn. We for some reason we kept just giving the ball back to them and giving them the incentive to come forward instead of just picking the simple pass, keep the ball, calm everything down. You're 3-1 up. And not a great performance. And every time they get the ball, they look like they're going to hurt us. It was baffling. But it was the right decision to take Volber off. As you said, Boyram came on. It definitely made us look a little bit more solid at the back. But then we were acceptable then from the set pieces. Obviously, the corner coming in, Meslier doesn't deal with it. The free kicks as well. So I don't solely blame Boyram. But he gets his head to the corner. He does his bit, heads it away. Boyram just looks good there. But again, like what you said, he was out with an illness and breathing issues, stuff like that, a couple of days beforehand. Surely that's a day to bring Isaac Smith on. Surely he should be able to do bits. If he's on the bench, he should be able to. I don't understand that situation either.
Yeah, I mean,
we're struggling to get our head around that as well, out with Chelsea with Isaac.
I mean,
in previous games, he's putting square pegs in round holes just so Isaac Smith doesn't come on the pitch. He's putting Ampadu at right back. He's shifting the whole defence around. So
everything, to make one change, like it's 4 or 5 positions, isn't it? Are being moved about, which it's very kind of Bielsa. What Bielsa used to do with it. The answer's there, so just put the round peg in the round hole and just do it and plug it. Yeah. But like what I don't really understand, lads, if he's not even that capable to come on for 5 or 10 minutes, then why take up a position on the bench? If he's not that capable to give it to us, well, then don't play him. Don't have him on the bench. Put someone else in there like your Gelhardt, who hasn't been in the squad over the last couple of weeks. Maybe we'll use him. It's just, to me, it's just getting to the stage that has to be a falling out. It's getting very much like the Jet Spence situation, isn't it? Where there's something not right there. Harrogate will obviously tell a big thing whether he plays or starts again. Harrogate, more sort of minutes he kind of gets there. But it doesn't make sense because it's this around the whole back line.
And when he comes on as well, it's not as if he's getting, pulled out of position. Or he looks decent. Anything majorly bad. Yeah. He looks good on the ball. He looks tied the ball. So, like you said, Dan, I think something's gone on in the dressing room or something in the background where Farke is like, he's not for me.
I have heard. I've seen somewhere. I am sure of it that apparently Farke has said in press conferences that he's maybe not up to the speed in training or something like that. But I mean, Dillo, as he has just said there. If he doesn't play against Harrogate, then there has to be something wrong, doesn't there?
100%. If he doesn't even get a half, like there's no point of bringing him on in the 80th minute, for 10 minutes. At the end of the day, like he has played European football. I think the chap knows what he's at. Like at the end of the day, I don't see him training every day. Farke does, so there's obviously something there. Whether it is a fitness thing, whether it is a personal thing, as Darren said in one of our videos, it comes down to simply some managers and players just don't get along. It could be something to do with that. But as Mike said, every time he comes on, he looks sharp. He just looks like a natural left back. He
looks athletic, lad.
Sharp,
very similar
really
to kind of kind of similar to kind of Firpo, kind of getting forward. Like I don't think we can fully comment on his football ability because we haven't seen much. The only thing we can really go off is if you did watch St. Gallen in the European competition, which I'm sure most of us probably haven't, but off his YouTube clips, and he looks good, lads. He looks decent enough. It's very, very hard to comment on it, but I did see again across Twitter and social media going, "No, this was a 49er signing." There's no way, lads. There's no way Daniel Farke is letting the board pick players for him.
No.
He's not that type of manager, and he said before in previous that the buck stops with him. We've seen with the Nanto situation as well that the 49ers were trying to force his hand to sell him on. He was saying, "No, we're keeping him. He's going into the 21." So he's not that type of manager. It was definitely a Farke signing. We seen it with Jed Spence last season. Definitely a Farke signing as well. But look what I said to Dillo. It's just maybe just some players and managers just don't get on, and you could see Smith going somewhere else and have a brilliant career and play well. But yeah, it's hard to comment on his footballing abilities when you haven't seen him too much. 25 minutes or something he's only got this season, so not good.
Yeah, I mean,
he always seems to bring it on as well, doesn't he? So to me, that it makes me think: does he trust him defensively? Does he not think he's he's good at his defensive duties? Because whenever he plays, he gets 10 minutes here and there. We're usually very comfortable in the game, aren't we?
Yeah, and that's like he has brought him on as a winger as well. But lads, I think we can all agree there's not a hope in hell he's getting into the squad as a winger. Like the options that we have out there, there's no way he's getting in there. And he has played fullback, so it doesn't make sense why we signed him. And if we had all that wing cover, why did we go get Solomon on the loan? Then if you sign Smith as that potential winger option. It doesn't really make sense. You're trying to piece it together, but without coming up with any real answers. The only answer you're coming up with is there has to be a falling out. There has to be an issue between the manager. He has said on past situations saying, "My door's open, to come and have a knock on it." I'm sure he has. I'm sure Farke's probably told Smith, "You're not doing it in training, and pick it up." And he probably hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think Large is, in sort of a similar situation at the moment, where obviously I feel like before he got injured, I think we all thought he was one of the best players in the team. He was performing really well. But obviously since he's come back from injury, we've not really seen a lot of him. Now, I get that could be down to the form of Dan James and Solomon of late, but to not even bring him or Nonto on at all yesterday, I don't think Largy got on at all against Blackburn on New Year's Day either.
Yeah, he hasn't played the last 2 games. Not a minute. Crazy.
Which is stranger for me because I think we've actually seen his quality and we know how good he can be. But what's he thinking there, do you think?
I'm not really sure, but like what you said, like against Blackburn, I thought Dan James really, really struggled. His quality on the ball was poor. Like he kept getting it, but he kept doing the same thing. His end product just wasn't there, and he was having a really poor day. And it's probably my criticism of Daniel Farke when he sees players struggling, he seems to just leave it and wait it out, and give them an opportunity to come through. We've seen it a good bit as well with Brendan Aronson this season when he's been ineffective and the quality hasn't been there, especially against Blackburn away. He had a really poor day against Blackburn away, kept giving the ball away, and Farke was just blind to it. Very similar to Dan James against Blackburn, and again yesterday. I know we got the goal, but outside the goal, lads, he didn't do much for me. So it's games like that where you're looking at your Willie Nonto, you're looking at your Ramazani to come on and change the game. To not even come on for 5 or 10 minutes when someone on the pitch is playing that poorly is crazy. But again, we did see Ramazani obviously against Derby. First 20 minutes looked really good, looked lively, did kind of drift out of the game. But I didn't think he had a really bad game. I didn't think it was one of them where he played himself out of the team where he wasn't going to play the next minute. Yeah, it wasn't terrible for next 2 matches. No. I kind of just put it down to a little bit of rustiness, which was very understandable. Seeing Amper do the first 15, 20 minutes against Stoke, he was very much similar to that as well. Took him a while to get grips to the game. So I was kind of just thinking it's a little bit of rust. We'll see him come in for Blackburn and so on, and he'll get himself back into the team and push Solomon. So yeah, you're trying to look at, unless he's kind of thinking ahead to Harrogate and Nonto and Ramazani off both of them wings, which would be absolutely crazy for against Harrogate. But yeah, for a game like that yesterday where you see Dan James so ineffective and not in it, to have your Nontos and Ramazanis on the bench and not change it up, yeah, again, it's another question to be asked.
It is weird though, isn't it, Dillo, that he can take Nonto out of the team when he's not playing so well, but he can't take Illan Meslier out after all his blunders. It is. I do find that quite strange how he's willing to make those like maybe brutal or harsh changes, maybe in some people's eyes, but yet he can't make the obvious one that's right in front of his eyes, mate.
That's fair, to be honest with you. Literally what Darren said there. This player struggling, Illan Meslier, and he won't take him off, just like what he does with the wingers when he or Brendan Aronson when they aren't up to scratch, just leaves them on to suffer. Maybe that has something to do with it. And then at the same time, he probably just doesn't want to knock Melia's confidence. But To be honest with you, I think it's gone past the point of no return now for Meslier,
It's
for the confidence thing. As I said, I'm the type of person where you made a mistake, get on with it. Put your big boy gloves on and get on with it. And to be fair, he done that to a certain degree, but then he's done it again. So
I think
no sympathy.
Farke protected him after Sunderland, lads. Mike and Charlie, I don't really know about you, but after the Sunderland bundle, we obviously had the 2-week international break, so we had 2 weeks kind of stew on it as Leeds fans. But when we came back, I think it was something across 6 or 7 games. Leeds only conceded 3 shots on goal, and I think that was very much Daniel Farke saying, keep the ball away from him as much as possible. His confidence is on the floor, because it was unbelievable. Lad. The strike and road on at the back were sensational. Lad. No shots were coming to go. We were shoring everything up in the middle of the park, and I do think Farke will probably do the same thing again. I do think you'll see us defensively structured, get back to the way we were, concede no shots, no goals, don't put any kind of pressure on Meslier. Because any times that we have this season, any time that we have been a little bit under the cosh or defensively woeful, Meslier has been as well. When you look back off the top of your head again, Portsmouth, we were all over the place defensively at Portsmouth. Meslier isn't there to save us, and there's times like that when you're not defensively strong, you need your goalkeeper to stand up and do it for you, and he hasn't done it many times this season. Stoke away, the first 2 minutes when they had a chance, he makes a really, really good save there. So he has got it in him, but he's more inconsistent than what he is consistent. And that's, as a goalkeeper, you can't have that, especially in the Championship. When you look at James Trafford and Cooper off Sheffield United, you look at the two of them to Illan Meslier, it's chalk and cheese. And it's the one position that I think if we don't get promotion, it's going to let us down big time, because we have quality everywhere else across the park.
I was saying that he's definitely good enough for the Championship, and now I'm eating my words, because I don't even think he's even good enough for the Championship.
I saw Sheffield United fans yesterday tweeting that their goalkeeper kept them in that game and he helped to win them that game. Has there been a
When's the last time we said
situation?
that?
That's what I mean. Is there a situation when us fans have been saying that about Meslier?
The only time I can think was
there was one there a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
There was the Borough one when he came out, and it was much of like a slow kind of tackle. I think Oakers played Piroe, and he came out his feet. But to be honest, I was kind of thinking I was probably the only fan turning around going, that's a save he kind of has to make. He was very much, it wasn't a 50-50, it was very much a 70-30 Meslier situation. But I think because we don't really see him doing things like that, we're like, oh, come on. Or even against Derby as well, when he came out, it was at the Don Revie, and he came out and fisted the ball, cleaned everyone out. And we're all like, look what Meslier's done there. It's like, that's what normal goalkeepers do. Because he doesn't do it much, we're bigging him up, that's something that's amazing. And that's what I think as Leeds fans, we don't see enough of that from him. But like what you say, Charlie, there's more times he's let us down than what he has saved us. And it's up to Farke now to make the call. He really, it's a big one, and he live and die on that hill. That's what Daniel Farke does.
I think I was like a lunatic over the Meslier save at Middlesbrough Down. I don't know what, I think we were on our own stream or someone else's, and I did sound like Roy Keane because they were all prepping him up, and I did say, well, that is his job. That's what he is. That's what he is there to do. But like, going back to what Darren said there, Road on and Strike in that partnership at the back, like how solid they've been. And if Farke has said to the lads in the defence, keep the ball away from Meslier, imagine what it would be like if you did have a good goalkeeper that could pull off saves. Like, to be fair, that wasn't a bad, like, it wasn't a hard save to make what he done yesterday. All I had to do was tip it over the bar. I'm trying to say,
I don't even think he had to tip it. I think he could have just held the crossbar and seen it over. Like, and it would have been out for a goal kick to us.
The ball actually looked like it had gone out.
It was going to hit the top of the bar. It was very much going out that way. It wasn't. He was going to hit the bar and come back across. It was very much looping out. He could have just even put his hands underneath the crossbar to make sure it was gone. But
you said that last night, didn't you, Mike? You said that last night.
Tip it over and concede the corner and regroup again. I don't know what he's thinking, lads. It's just crazy. An absolute howler.
But all we're doing is, all we're asking is he come in and do the basic box, whether it's catch a ball, whether it's, be an air post. That's all we need, is someone to come in and do the basics. And when you go back to Karl Darlow, surely he can come in and just do the basics. We're not asking for much, are we, to be fair?
No, no, we're not. But
surely if he's done that for Meslier after Sunderland, when he was in like low confidence on the floor, and he tried to build him back up, keep the ball away from, give him 4 or 5 games without really kind of much to do, and kind of see his confidence back up. Surely we'd be able to do the same with Darlow then, if he is thinking in his head, right, let's set up, let's be defensively strong, let's give Karl Darlow a couple of games to get into it, build his minutes up, atmosphere, just get back into the general playing football again. Surely be able to do that. But like what Mike said, there's no way in the world he's a worse goalkeeper than Illan Meslier.
No, absolutely.
I think both of them on their days, if both of them are at their level that they can hit. Meslier is definitely the better goalkeeper, but at the minute Meslier is down here. Surely Darlow has to be better.
Absolutely. But shall we speak about some things a little bit more positive from yesterday's game?
We'll try.
And
I'm looking forward to this.
There is something that Mike predicts most weeks in terms of a goal scorer. He does predict that Tanaka will score, and it never happens. But finally, he got his wish yesterday. And I mean, what a goal that was! I mean, as a first goal for your club, I mean, as he went to, I actually screamed at the telly saying, "No, don't shoot from there!" And then obviously I had to eat my words a few seconds later. But I mean, just talk to me, lads, about that goal. It was a beauty, wasn't it?
It was unreal. And something we were doing a watch along, and what we tried to start doing now at halftime. We tried to we put a link in the chat. We get some people to come on and kind of give their halftime thoughts on it. It's really good because you obviously have general fans out there, and they're just kind of off the bat, and it's great. But the general kind of consensus at halftime was we need to start shooting from outside the box. It felt like we were trying to walk the ball into net, and we were all in agreement. Let's just start trying to have a pop. The pitch is in disarray, and you just never know if it hits a ball, it hits a defender, it can go into the back of the net. And I went off because we were obviously after doing that, and I was like, Dylan, I just need to nip to the loo. So I paused it. So Dylan was on stream, and I was in the toilet, and I just heard Dylan, goal, and just ran back. So I completely missed it. Ran back and seen the replay, but watching it back, yeah, what a hit. Again, the only downside of it is what was to come after that, because you'd look back at one of them goals, and if we had won the game 3-1 or 3-2, you'd be looking at that going, unbelievable for tonight.
That's what I mean as well, and everybody should be speaking today about that goal, about a nice, comfortable win. But then, like you said, we all know what happened next. But obviously, Dan James managed to get himself on to the score sheet as well after having probably not his best game. I think that's fair to say. But I loved the work rate from Solomon in the build-up to that goal. I think Dan James, he is a weird one, isn't he? Because I think if he's having an off game, you can really tell.
He's really off,
Like you can just tell from a mile off. But I was still happy for him, Dillo, that he managed to get on to the score sheet. But I mean, I was actually more impressed with Solomon for that goal, mate. Don't know about you.
Yeah, Solomon was everywhere. You know, he was creating chances. As Darren said, even with Blackburn, going back to that game when he took him off, that was still a head scratch for me. I'm being honest. He was the only one that was injecting something into the game. But then, yesterday with Solomon for me, he was everywhere. I think DJ, it's going to sound crazy, but I think he's trying too hard because of the ceiling that he can be. But then me and Darren kept saying, and noticing it constantly. For me, I have like a little issue with Aronson. Aronson seems that every time he has a pop, it gets bloomed over the bar. And that's something that's just, it's like bookmarked in my head. And now I'm starting to realise now with Dan James is he's going at them, but he's cutting in on his left and trying to dink it in with his left, as opposed to just darting in and putting it across the box. But every time that he done it yesterday, it didn't work. Didn't work once.
Very predictable, I thought it was.
Predictable. Yeah,
I don't know where it came from, lads, because his end product is something under Bielsa that was really, really poor, and I think it was probably one of the reasons why Marsh did send him out. Was much we were all saying he's after being flogged, but he came back, and especially under Daniel Farke, his end product has been sensational. His shooting, his goal scoring, his crossing has been really good. The last 2 games we've really seen it dip again. And for some reason, he just keeps coming back in on that left foot and doing the same kind of dinking, looping ball. And against these type of championship defenders, when you had Danny Battenheim at Blackburn, they're going to mop them up all day. Yesterday at Hull, they're going to mop that up all day long. And even for us, we don't even have anyone in. Like, you can't imagine a Joel Piroe attacking something like that. He's very much, ball to feet, one touch goal. Not really one kind of off the header. So, I don't really know what the situation is with DJ. He's definitely been well below par the last 2 games. But having said that, lads, probably over from last season to this season, he's probably been our most consistent player. Remember the playoff final, he was the only one that kind of came on and grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. So
should have started that game, by the way.
Should have started that game. Really should have started the game. So I'm a little bit reluctant to kind of give him too much stick on more on the hope side that he's just gone through like a little blip like everyone else in this squad. Can't see him playing.
It wasn't awful either. It was just a bad performance.
No,
it's just he was still getting it. He was still getting the ball. It wasn't like he was non-existent in the game. It just seemed like every time he got the ball, it just wasn't coming off from him. Sometimes
I actually think that him and Bob have got a good partnership down that right hand side. I think every time it clicks, it really does. It really
Yeah.
does click. It gets into
And
gear.
see,
But
when soon as Bogle gets it, the first time, if you watch Bogle every time he gets the ball, he's constantly looking for Dan James. He's always looking to see, can I get him in behind? And I'm sure Farke said every time you got it, you just look up and there's a chance to get Dan James in behind. Just do it, and that's what he does. But even yesterday, I thought Bogle, his performance as well, he was okay at times, but a lot of them he was overrunning the ball, running into traffic, poor passing as well. And again, I might just interlink to it why Dan James was bad as well, because I just think that right side yesterday, like the whole lot across the park, was just ineffective.
I do still think with Bogle that defensively it can be a bit vulnerable at times. I think his positioning can be a little bit off, but I think everything that he offers us going forward, I think is brilliant. But Mike, who scored our third goal? He's got a special name on our channel, hasn't he? The Spliffmaster General.
We like to call him, don't we? Because he always looks.
Because he always looks
like
blazed.
He's been hitting the old doobie before the game, but he took it really well. To be fair, didn't he? I think it obviously shocking by their goalkeeper, but he took it really well. But I think he were anonymous, for most of that game, as we tend to see him away from home, don't we? But I was. I were going to be really smug as well towards the end of the game, because I predicted Tanaka to score and I predicted 3-1, didn't I, before the game?
You did. Yeah, you did.
You know what? I even put a
3-1, is it?
Yeah, 3-1.
Yeah, so
Dylan predicted 3,
yeah. I put a post when we were 3-1 up as well on TikTok. Basically, being a bit smug as well, and you should see the comments. Rightly so. I'm getting absolutely panned in the comments. But just to go back to Piroe's goal, it's what we use that way. He doesn't do much in the game, but if you get him in them positions and you get him in the box, you can always kind of bank on him to score that goal. But for me, he just always leaves me wanting a little bit more.
Yeah. He goes missing for large parts of the game, lads, doesn't he? Like, you'll see him in the game for like 5-10 minutes and he's in and he's very much involved, and then he'll go missing for a good chunk, and it seems to be kind of the continuous thing with Piroe.
What is that? What's that?
It's bring him a little bit closer. Dylan is a Piroe lover. I mean, a lover.
Look at that. That's brilliant.
He loves Piroe. But Piroe does what Piroe does. Any opportunity in and around the box, absolutely sensational. I just don't think we played to our strengths, lads. We haven't since he's came in. He reminds me of two totally different players, but the same thing with Jermaine Bagford as well. His really general kind of all-round play was never really great, but if you just gave him a chance, he put the ball in the back of the net. And Piroe reminds me that if we just played to his strengths a little bit more, and his game, if you just change up his game a little bit more, actually get into the box, make a front post run, because you see a lot of balls coming into the box, and he's very much still outside the box. If you actually, gamble, get into the box, front post, centre circle, we'd have a chance then. So, but look, he's a top goal scorer. We have to stick with him.
I think he works well against certain opponents that set up in a certain way. I think tactically it is a bit difficult to maybe get the best out of him, but obviously we speak about this a lot on our channel so far, lads. So I do just want your opinion. Is it Piroe or is it Joseph? Where do you stand on that?
I think Piroe now. At the start of the season, I was very much Joseph, and the reason being, obviously Piroe had a great pre-season. Joseph had a great pre-season, and he can kind of continue that on into the games. But then what started happening, Joseph was really not really having good games, but tiring out defences, run them ragged. And we seen Piroe coming on and getting a lot of goals. We were getting a lot of joy from him being a so-called super sub. And I remember then it came to that situation just before Sunderland when he did start and he gets the goal. And I remember thinking, it's worked before this, and this is the first chance that he's got to start and he scores the goal. So I was like, right, we have to go with Piroe. So we gave him a couple of games, and that's when a couple of the results were a little bit of disarray. We kind of start going all over the place. I was like, we need to change it back. We need to go back to Joseph. Yeah, he's not scoring goals, but it's working in that situation of bringing Piroe on. It is happening for us that way. But I'm very much now, Joseph seems to be well off. Anytime he's coming on in games, he's very, very ineffective. So for me, it has to be Piroe. I'd like to see Daniel Farke again. I don't think he will do it. I'd like to see him just nail down and just turn around and say to Piroe, right, you mightn't score for 2 or 3 games, but I'm just going to stick with you for 5, 6, 7 games and give you a good run on the squad, give you a good run in your legs instead of just kind of chopping and changing week in, week out. But it seems to Farke that he just looks at opponents, different horses for different courses, and it's constantly changing up, which I don't think is good for a settled squad. I don't think he knows his best starting 11 yet.
The way I see it as well is that strikers are judged on goals, and obviously Joe Piroe, even though he is anonymous in quite a lot of games, if he's in the right place at the right time, he will score goals. Whereas I think Joseph is still quite raw, and obviously Isaac on our channel likes to call him League One Matty because he just really doesn't rate him at all. But Dillo, I mean, I assume Joseph will play against Harrogate. But how's your head with that argument, mate? Which side of the fence are you on?
Yeah,
I think
I think
that you're on the Piroe fence with that thing you've got there. But
no, actually, believe it or not, away from home, I'd say Joseph.
right. Okay.
I just think that when they come out with a low block, I think Joseph can wear them down. Piroe being a super sub, but like that, I think like you couldn't be starting DJ with Joseph up top.
No.
You know what I mean? I think Nanto would be better for DJ to come on in the 17th minute, be a bit more effective.
I felt that yesterday that was
Yeah.
the kind of the game for Nanto, and then to bring DJ and Piroe on. I thought he would have went
Yeah.
with Joseph and Nanto yesterday, and then bring Piroe and Dan James
He
on.
brought Joseph on in like the 91st minute or something as well, didn't he?
Would you already feel
again,
confident, though, lads?
way
Like if he
too
starts Piroe and we're chasing the game like we are, I always feel more confident that we might get something back when Piroe's coming on, rather than vice versa when Joseph's coming on.
Yeah,
it never really feels like that he's going to be a game changer. He's going to get us a goal. I think the only one I look back when I think it was Sheffield United, wasn't it? 2-0 was the last time he scored. Lovely finish, and then obviously now he gets to the penalty against Blackburn, but he very rarely creates that and very rarely gets involved. I just think it works better the other way when Joseph does start and Piroe's the one coming on. We look likely to kind of pull the game back. You'll know he'll kind of get a half chance and go pull us back into the game with Joseph. I don't feel that.
Look, just imagine though with Joseph and Aronson, like when Aronson does the pressing, imagine you were left back and in the 70th minute, you know, you've probably done all the run that you can, and you see Dan James coming on. I'd hang up my boots, lads. Like that man can do some serious running. You'd be wrecked out there. You'd have to have legs of steel. You know, I just think he's a bit more effective coming on off the bench. But then yet again, same as Piroe, he's banging in goals, he's getting assists, so it's kind of hard to drop him, really. You know?
Yeah,
I think we have to stick with Piroe for the next while. I think we just need to give him a good out run on the squad. Obviously, it's going to be Joseph against Harrogate, but I think after that, I'd like to see Piroe get a good run of games and see what he can do over a course. Like what I said, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the starting position.
Yeah,
I don't mind anyone but Bamford.
Absolutely, completely agree. But obviously, our next 3 games in the league, then I believe, is Sheffield Wednesday and is it Norwich at home? Yep.
Got Norwich and then Burnley, isn't it, away?
Burnley away.
Yeah.
So there's some, they're not exactly easy games, are they? And I think everything that we've discussed previously, all, the context of it all can go into the Sheffield Wednesday game. I would like to see Darlow in goal, obviously. I think we've all agreed on that. But Sheffield Wednesday, they are in decent form. I think they're about 9th or 10th in the league. They'll definitely be up for it that day. The away end will be packed out. I mean, after watching that yesterday, how are we all feeling going into that?
I'm still kind of confident, Charlie, to be honest with you, at Elland Road. Like, when you look at our last 10, 9 wins, 1 draw, like, it ain't bad. And I think, as much as the Meslier situation, I was kind of feeling solid like a little bit on, I do think at Elland Road is a fortress. When I look across any team that's came to Elland Road this season, they've always changed up their game for us. When you look at Sheffield United, even Burnley, I thought we totally dominated that game. We were very, very unlucky to lose that game. Look, at minimum, we should have drawn it, but we should have got the win. We didn't take our chances that day, and then a slip does us. I think it'd be very much like that against Sheffield United. I'll be confident for that game. The one I am looking at is the Norwich one, because I think Norwich are very unpredictable. So they're very, very up and down. I know Bro has signed now. I think he's got his match ban, 7-match ban, which is great news because I think he's 15, 16 goals. So that is good news for Leeds. But they're just one of them sides that can punish you. They have got them typical championship players in their squad that can beat you. So I'm confident enough for Sheffield Wednesday. It's more so the Norwich, and then definitely Burnley away is a big one. There's not going to be many goals in that one, lads. And I think, for me, that's a 1-0 win for Burnley all over, because they're just rock solid at the back. They don't concede any chances whatsoever.
Mr. Negative.
It is, Dylan. No, it is. And I never am, Dylan. You know me. I'd never predict Leeds United to lose, ever. Just the vein of form that Burnley are on. As they don't concede, 9 goals or something they've only conceded this season. It's crazy. Like, and just at the minute, the way we're kind of a little bit disarray at the back, you just hope by the time Burnley comes around that we kind of have it sorted out, and the goalkeeping situation should really we'll know then whether he's sticking with Meslier or going with.
So you'll put Darlow on net, and then Darlow will slip and let a goal go in. Watch.
Yeah, and then Illan will have to go back in. Then
that Burnley one for me, though,
tail between his legs.
That's a massive one. That Burnley one.
I mean, Personally, that's the game that I'm more concerned about for obvious reasons. I don't know about you, Mike, but I think Burnley will be a very tough one, especially at Turf Moor as well, where they are quite solid, and they are a very well organised team defensively, as we've just said. So, Mike, I mean, out of the next three, mate, which one are you more nervous for, if you had to say? Would you say Burnley?
I say Burnley, and I agree with Darren really with the Sheffield Wednesday. I think we come out and we make a real kind of statement against them. We're brilliant at home. I think I think we'll beat them. And again, I think Norwich game, it could go either way. That one, they're very unpredictable. But yeah, I think Burnley, they're not going to concede many goals. They're going to do exactly what they did at Ellen Road. You would imagine they're going to sit back. Parker seems to have our number when he played as previous times as well. So I think the sit back, catches on break. It seems when I watched that game, it looked like the sustained in terms of they knew when to let us have the ball and they knew when to press us. So I think so I think we really need to kind of up our game for that game, and that's the one I'm
it's our away form as well, Mike, isn't it? Look, I know we kind of banished them over the Christmas period. Stoke and Derby felt like we really got that hoodoo away, but it feels like now after Hull, it's still kind of there, still just lingering in the back of your head, isn't it? So I feel like that Burnley one, that's a massive game, lad. And I think just confidence for either side. Like if Burnley beat us after that, their tails are really up. I think, it's one of them.
I personally think, lads, that if Meslier doesn't do what he did yesterday, that we're having a different sort of conversation. In
100%.
In terms of the away form. Because I actually think first half yesterday I don't think was great, but I thought second half we really turned it on, and I thought we completely dominated it for the majority.
And that's fair juice to the lads, Charlie, isn't it? Because of a terrible first half performance, and it was mad because there wasn't even any change at half time, but the team that came out the second half looked like a totally different side, rejuvenated.
It was hard to comment on in the first half.
And in fairness, all the flowers go to all the players to get us 3-1 up, to get us in that position. It's a keeper down at the other end that you need to dig us out at times like that. That really lets us down. So you're 100% right there. We're having a different conversation. If we win 3 on the spin away from home after the away woes we've had at the start of the season, we're looking at Burnley going, well, we're really good away from home now. We're up there. We haven't lost at home, so you're having a totally different conversation. You're really confident going into the next 5 fixtures, saying, we should be winning.
And as well, I think the Blackburn point doesn't seem as bad if we get that job done yesterday as well. I don't think that seems...
And it was just the way results went our way as well. Burnley slipped up. I think they drew Stoke, and then Sunderland done Sheffield United as well. So we've seen us actually extend our lead by 3 points. So it was one of them where we've gained. It could have been more, but we'll take it. They slipped up, but then yesterday it completely changed. They got their results and we didn't get ours. And that's the nature of the championship, lads. It's gonna ebb and flow.
5 points clear.
Should be 5 points clear. Mate. Yeah.
But this is what happens now if Leeds do get promoted. Now they know the strengths and the weaknesses and what they need to get improved, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done to this team.
I think it's that, like, for you,
major
Charlie,
surgery for Premier League. Major
question for you, like, Charlie. Look, I've said it. Like, I think the whole spine. I think, like, definitely a goalkeeper. We need another centre half, because I think Strike could definitely do it in the Premier League. We've obviously seen him do it. Rodon is the one that's the question over him. He probably could step up, but we haven't seen enough of him there to do it. We definitely need someone in the middle of the park then as well. You're talking a number 10 and definitely another striker. So you're talking the whole spine at Leeds United that definitely
possibly even left backs as well.
That's without even looking full-back position, and possibly a flare winger as well. So it needs major surgery when we go up.
You're talking about 5, 6, 7 players that we need. And
I think 7 minimum. That's being generous.
And you have a lot then. You have a lot to try and shift then the other way, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I think at the minute there's only a few players in our best 11 that I think could make the step up.
It's
only a few. So
I'd say a handful, 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
I definitely think Tanaka can. I think the Premier League will suit Tanaka a lot more. I think Strike definitely can 100% do it. Nanto, his performances over the last 2 seasons have been very up and down. And I know we've done it in the Premier League for us, so everyone's going to say, well, he's done it before. But I just think over the last 2 seasons, a question mark remains over him. Ramazani at the start of the season, I would have said 100% he's going to be unbelievable. There's another question mark over him. So you're right, Charlie. There's only a very select few that you look at, say, they can definitely make the step up. But then there's a lot of question marks over the rest of them. Then can they? Even Jayden Bogle is a question mark over him, because we've obviously seen him for Sheffield United as well. So a lot of questions to be asked. Yeah.
Do you think Dan James? Sorry, guys. Do you think Dan James can replicate that form in the obviously there were question marks over his product and his finishing, etc. And we've seen a real improvement in the Championship. Do you think he can take that forward into the Premier League?
I think he can, Mike. Yeah, look,
If
I
he's playing
really
in his
do.
best position, I think he can.
Yeah, like he was flogged under Bielsa, and again, it was a lot of injuries. You know, he had to win. There was times he was playing as our striker, which was mental.
Yeah.
But I think how he's improved on the Farke like that with his final ball, and Matty from Imagine Up in Leeds, we've had the conversation about. We really think that Dan James could be a big hit in the Premier League. You know, with that pace, his final ball was really, really good. And remember at the time, a lot of Scum fans were saying to us, you know, thanks very much for that 25 million. I really think he's paid us back that 25 million with his performance last season and this season. But I do think he is one of them. Last 2 games hasn't been great, but just overall his performance the last 18 months or so, I think he could be, if he can keep improving on that end product, because it is a part of the game that you can improve on. He has everything else. He has pace. He can beat a man. It is that end product that he can, and if he keeps improving on it, there's no reason why not he can't do it in the Premier League.
Yeah.
As we're speaking about transfers, then obviously it is the transfer window now. So I think we can all agree it'd be nice if Leeds could go out to get a keeper, but somehow I don't think that'll be the case. Other than goalkeeper, lads, is there a position that you would strengthen in at the minute?
I think we need a 10. I definitely think we need a 10 for Aronson, and it's not. I was getting a bit of hate saying, "No, you know, you're an Aronson hater." It's definitely not. I actually really do like Aronson in there. I think he works well, especially at Elland Road. He's been fantastic. Away from home, he's very ineffective, apart from Stoke and Derby. But I just think at the minute, especially yesterday, he's flogged, and it's someone natural, that number 10. And I know they're pricey, but surely we can look at one of the Premier League sides. You know, get one of their fringe players, get them in on loan. Like, I know a lot of people saying, that one's not going to happen. McAtee looks like he's off to Newcastle, but surely there's a natural number 10 there that Leeds should be able to dip in just to change it up when Aronson isn't quite on it, looking for that little bit of quality. You know, people are saying Brendan Aronson, he has more GNA now than Georgie Rutter last season, so that somehow makes him the better player. For me, his
end product's a bit up and down.
He's very inconsistent. So I just think at times, at the minute, Aronson definitely has that number 10 short. I would just like, it seems like everywhere else across this team, again, apart from goalkeeper, that we have someone else that can fill in that position when all fit, that he can do it. It's that number 10 position that we don't see. And then there's this narrative as well. You know, Nanto can play there, Solomon can play there. Farkas came out and said, no, they can't. Wingers can't play the number 10. But then we seen then against Blackburn that he moved Aronson out to the wing. So then can play a winger, but a winger can't play 10. So I don't really agree with that one. But it is probably the one position I think that we're lacking a lot, is that number 10 position. I think the link between the midfield and the forward line does go missing a little bit at times with Aronson. So I would like a number 10 and possibly a little bit of fullback cover depending on the situation with Firpo.
Dillo, are you the same there, mate?
Yeah, I think a 10 is definitely a must. We're going back to Aronson. I do like him, but as I said, there's just a few times, if you watch his overall play, when a chance does open up, he's blooming it over the bar. He's putting his body back, you know, and it drives me mad. And as I said to Darren,
get the knee over it,
He can kind of, you know, he scores tap-ins. That's kind of the goals where he goes at. Someone flicks him a little ball in through, or he just goes on a nice little run. But a 10 is definitely a must. Just as well, you know, as I said, if we're away from home and Joseph is doing all the pressing and DJ comes on, you know, and say Piroe, but then you'd obviously take Aronson out as well and bring it kind of that flair, impact player as well in the 10.
So plays a lot of minutes, does Aronson?
Yeah, it's more just changing
it up. Charlie, flogged. And even there during the international break, that's when it was worse, when he was going away with US and he was coming back to us and he just looked absolutely jaded coming back to us. And I think it's just games like that. And especially, there was a time there, I think I always remember, was Bristol away as well. He was really poor, but it always seemed to be that third game in the 6 or 7 days that Aronson seemed to be off. And I think it is that third game then that where, you know, we need that little bit of rotation in there. But yeah, that's it for me. Obvious one, obviously, after yesterday is a goalkeeper. Do I think Leeds go and do it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, I'd probably more prefer try a Karl Darlow or Cairns to see if that works for us, but I can't see them dipping into the market for a goalkeeper. I'd be very, very surprised.
I would be summer. I'd say a 10. Under the circumstances of Firpo and Vauber now, because there's rumours about them too. He's not going to play Schmidt, so
we keep getting linked with centre backs as well. I don't know if you've seen. I think there's that Forest, the Forest centre back for about 10,
And
11
with them
million.
yeah.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is about him, Charlie, obviously, we know him from being Irish as well. He is very agile as well, and he does look like someone that could cover that full back position as well. I know we don't want that, but that's a player that Farke likes. Normally,
can he
he
play
likes
full back?
he can play full back as well.
Yeah.
And there's times for Ireland as well. He's played in a back three as well, so he's very much he can do it out there again. Very much like Vober, you know, not natural to him, but can't fill in there. And I think that's the profile of player that Farke likes. He likes that, you know, a player that can play two positions, that can cover both. So that's a real possibility of that. And he's still only young as well, very high ceiling, looks dominant in there as well. So that would be one to get in the door. I'd like that one as well.
Well, I think only time will tell in terms of seeing if Leeds United will dip into the market. But I think we'll leave it there for this one. I've really enjoyed this one. It's been a pleasure to have you
Really
both
enjoyed it.
on.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks so much.
No,
And,
that's not a problem.
Really
But,
appreciate it, lads.
I mean, hopefully we can turn this into maybe a bit more of a regular
get
thing.
back on.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, enjoy that. 100%. Yeah.
Love that.
But yeah, like I say, guys, you know, it was a tough watch yesterday, but hopefully there are better days to come, especially with Illan Meslier. But yeah, just before we go, guys, as always, if you haven't checked out OnlyLeedsBros, make sure you go and check their
Cheers,
channel.
Charlie.
Well, great content over there as always.
Yeah.
And please make sure that you are subscribing, you're commenting, and you are liking if you enjoy the content. And we will see you through the week. Cheers.
Yeah, lads.
Cheers, everyone.